The fourth strategy that we're going to look at is called Picture It. And the aim of this strategy is to help learners connect to the text through visualizing information to create meaning. So you want learners to be able to begin to visualize or make mental images of the information that they are reading to help them create meaning and understanding. And often we do this in our heads already. So when you're reading a novel and you're reading about a character, you've already got a mental image of what you believe that character looks like. And this is important as it helps you create a deeper understanding and connection to the text that you are reading. So learners can make mental images through pictures, diagrams, equations, mind maps. Again, they can be in the learner's head. But if learners are not prone to this way of thinking, because everyone learns differently, you're going to need to prompt them and help them. And please remember that visual learning is such an important part to multisensory learning. Again, there are key questions or prompts that you can give to the learners to help them to develop this way of thinking, because not everyone thinks in pictures. Some learners it comes more naturally, and for other learners they're going to need to work on it. And again, it can be on a scrap piece of paper, it can be at the back of their books, it doesn't matter, but they need to somehow visually represent what they are reading. So you can ask them to describe or draw what pictures they have in their head while they were reading a piece of information. Can they describe the picture that they made in their head? Can you illustrate this information as a picture, diagram, or illustration? And what are you visualizing? Now let's look at a teaching example together. The text in front of you is titled Relief and Rainfall. Did you know that rainfall can be caused by mountains? When warm, moist air is blown from the ocean onto the land, it is able to move up the mountain slope. As the air begins to rise, it also begins to cool down, and water vapor is formed and then condenses into water droplets to make clouds. The clouds then cause rain to fall on the side of the mountain that faces the ocean. The rain cloud seldom travels over the mountain and rains on the other side. This is because by the time the cloud has traveled, the rain droplets have already been condensed out the air. The side of the mountain that gets the most rainfall is called the windward side, and the side that gets the little rain is called the leeward side. So now, when learners are presented with this information or text, you want to read it to them first, and then get them to read it on their own to try and make sense of it. So how does visualizing or making pictures, how does the strategy work? You need to prompt learners to think in pictures sometimes. Some learners can do it naturally, and some learners need to be guided. So a key question you can ask is, what are the pictures that you have in your head, and can you describe it? So while learners are reading this information, were they picturing something? And if they were, can they describe it? Maybe I was seeing a mountain and clouds, or I was seeing a really green side of the mountain and then a really dry and warm side of the mountain where there's no rainfall. Doesn't matter what they were visualizing. They could even be visualizing a holiday where they went somewhere and it was desert climate, or they were in a mountain that it rained all the time and it was lush and green. Again, it doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong answer, but it's getting learners to really engage with the text in front of them. Another question can be, can you illustrate this information as a picture, diagram, or an illustration? So they can either describe what they were seeing, or you can get them to actually draw it down. So a very simple example could be what you see on the screen in front of you. A rough drawing of a mountain, you've got the sea on the left, and it shows the moist air rising up. And as it cools down, it forms a cloud. The cloud then rains, so the water vapor condenses. And then the right-hand side of the mountain is dry, because the cloud never gets there to rain. So looking at this diagram, learners will be able to almost repeat the information that was given to them in the text. But they haven't had to go and paraphrase and learn off by heart. Through drawing a simple diagram, they've managed to understand the content on a deeper level. And this is why using diagrams and pictures are such a powerful tool for learners. It corresponds and marries so well with how the brain naturally likes to think and work in patterns.